What's going on YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do, and I've got a video for you guys today. This is a little PC that Azulle has sent me, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They make little mini PCs, and this is one of their newest versions. They did send me the 4 gig version, which is the version I highly recommend running, unless you know that you're going to be able to run your programs that you plan on using with less than 1 gig of RAM available, because Windows does use quite a bit of that RAM. Then I highly recommend spending, it was like an extra $20 or $30 to get this version of it versus the 2 gig version. So definitely consider getting this version right here. It says 4 gig. It has been opened, but it's okay. It's fine. They sent this to me. I did not buy it. So shout out to Azulle for sending this to me. Here we go. A Byte Plus, the mini PC that is fanless, and the outside's pretty simple. It does have the Intel Cherry Trail T3 Z8 300. It's a quad core, and it can support turbo boost up to 1.84 gigahertz. It says it has 2 gigs of memory, but they told me it had 4, so we'll figure that out. And it has dual monitor capability, so that's pretty freaking cool there. All right. Let's go ahead and open this sucker up. And then boom, check this out. Here we go. This is the Byte Plus. We have the little antenna here for Wi-Fi. We've got our VGA, our 2 USB 3.0 ports, our gigabit Ethernet, HDMI, power, USB 2.0, and then our Kingston lock and our headphone port. And on the side here, we have our micro SD card slot, so you can store some extra stuff on here. So on the top we have a warning about how this can get quite hot, so just be careful and don't let a baby or something touch it after you've been using this thing extensively, because this top does get quite warm after some use. So in here we have some more stuff. This is the power adapter to power this bad boy up. And then you got some instruction booklets and stuff like that. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Let's go ahead and turn this sucker on. Alright, so we're going to put in the power back here. It's going to turn blue, and then it's going to go off to red. Awesome. And then there's a couple different ways you can go about this. Anker has this 2-in-1 that I'm going to be using. It's a mouse and a keyboard off of one USB 2.0 port. So you don't have to have 2 separate things. But if you plan on being on the couch and using this mainly as a media center PC for things like Kodi and stuff like that for viewing media, I definitely recommend getting something like this. It's one little receiver, and then you've got a decent sized keyboard to deal with here, and then you've got a little trackpad here. Now, I'm going to be clicking and doing a lot of things, so just doing this for a little while gets a little bit annoying. Obviously, if you're using it as a media center, you're just going to be like, play, done, put this away, pick it back up if you need to pause it or do something else. So it's up to you. This is the K400 Plus. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take that USB, put it right here in the back, and then we've got this 256 gig and it's USB 3.0, and we're gonna go ahead and plug that into the back here to give this thing some extra storage. If you're going to use this as a torrenting box to just, sit on a shelf somewhere and, log into it via some sort of command prompt or software that you can use to log into another computer, you can do that. Or you just set it up and unhook the display or something. It's, whatever, however you want to use it, this is yours to do that because it uses very little power, depending on what you're using it for. We're going to hook up that HDMI port right here. And then we're going to go ahead and readjust the camera so you can see all this in action. We're going to go ahead and start it up by holding down that power button. And then give it just a second and the screen should turn on. So thanks to having that VGA and HDMI port, you can easily hook up a HDMI display like this one, and then a little VGA display to the side, and have a dual monitor setup. It would help if I turn my mouse on. And we're going to choose English United States. Oh, no, I meant to choose the time. Oh, well, I'll fix that later. Yes, accept all these terms and ridiculous things. We're going to go ahead and connect to our on-hub router here. Hit next. Verifying and connecting. And I'm going to use express settings just to make this setup process a little bit quicker. And like we were saying before, you can use this thing as a media center in your living room, and you can use that huge 200, 300 gig flash drive, or you can hook up a hard drive that is USB 3.0 and get some very good read and write speeds with absolutely zero buffering, because USB 3.0 is pretty fast. And if you're using a decent drive, then there shouldn't be any hesitation or load times or anything like that, and you can watch the latest show you want to watch, or the latest movie you want to watch, whatever you have stored on the cloud or your local storage. Also, you can use one of those USB ports to set up a camera and have a Skype conversation in your living room from your couch with your child's grandma or your daughter's sister who's with another parent or brother or something like that. Lots of different uses as far as that. And last but not least, Microsoft Word. You can type a document up from the comfort of your couch using a keyboard and a mouse. And you got full Microsoft Word at your fingertips. And for those of you that are asking, that micro SD card slot can support up to 128 gigs. I know Samsung has released a card that's bigger than that, but 128 gigs is a significant amount because this little guy here only has 32 gigs of built-in storage. That being said, I do have that USB flash drive hooked up, which is giving it a couple hundred extra gigs of storage. All right, so I don't actually like to set all this up, and before you had to put in a fake email and password, and you had to try a couple times, and it would be like, hey, we're sorry you're having trouble, do you want to do a local account? They've actually made it easier by just skipping this step, and you would just simply give this PC a name such as Josh, and then next. All right, so now after a little bit of setting up and loading, it is here on the home screen. We can go ahead and right click down here and do Task Manager, and then it's going to be a little mini version of it. So when this loads, you're going to go ahead and choose the bigger version of it by more details, and we're going to go to Performance, and there we have it, guys. They did send me the 4 gig model, so there is 2.6 gigs available, which is amazing and awesome. Wow, that is pretty freaking awesome. The CPU usage is at max because it is, of course, running through all the initial setups and things that it's first doing. There's going to be Windows updates and etc. So lots of things. We're going to go ahead and do a speed test of the Wi-Fi and see just how fast that is once that CPU usage goes down, because that will, unfortunately, how is the way to put this? Limit our results, as restrict us from getting the fastest speeds we can. In the meantime, we can go ahead and install Google Chrome, because that's my browser of choice, of course, because I can sign in and it downloads all my extensions and stuff like that I want to use. Obviously, this is a little more optimized than Chrome will be to this computer, so just keep that in mind. Google.com/Chrome. A channel I highly recommend checking out is Seidman. He has a YouTube channel, and he does this stuff on a regular, goes over little mini PCs and installs Minecraft and some mods and stuff to make it towards it doesn't use as much resources, and he sees just how playable games are on these little things, and goes into a little more depth as far as I do. I just generally use it for browsing the web and loading up Kodi from my couch and stuff like that. So I'll have a link to his channel in the description if you want to go ahead and check him out, and you can go ahead and let him know that Josh sent you over there. Now, I'm not a huge fan of blocking ads because that is how people get paid, and it's how they afford food and living and stuff. So I don't normally block ads, but since this is a little computer, I will be installing this for just a moment to run some tests and then uninstalling it later on. I can block a few more things. This is what I want right here: malware, remove social media buttons, and disable tracking. Awesome. So let's go ahead and go to speedtest.net because it has a lot of ads there. All right, we're going to go ahead and click begin test and see just how fast it is. Our CPU usage has kicked up pretty high, so that might affect the results of this test, but we'll see. Not too bad. We are using Google Fiber, so it kind of has an advantage. We are connected at a speed of 433 megabits per second, which is not bad at all. All right, so we went ahead and figured out which PC or which device is showing up in this list, and it is this one right here. So we're going to go ahead and change it as a device priority for 1 hour, save. And this is our Google On-Hub router here. So now it's a priority device. It's going to get the most out of our internet. And now we're going to go ahead and test that again and see what kind of speeds we get this time around with very little CPU usage. So looks like it's going to be about the same. Okay. Well, CPU usage, that's the problem with processors like this, is it takes up a lot of the processor to run something like this from the results that I'm seeing. Now, before we end this longer video, I've got this Ethernet cable hooked up into my gig switch, which is connected to my fiber box. So we will have a 1 gig per second speed, and we're going to see if we can get these speeds to be a little bit faster. Let's go ahead and disconnect from that Wi-Fi. Ethernet cable is plugged in. Yes. Pay attention to the Ethernet down here. We're going to go ahead and test that again. All right, long story short, we're getting really high usage, so let's go ahead and restart this thing. All right, so before we go ahead and run this test through a wired connection after we rebooted it, that 256 gig flash drive, there it is. We can go ahead and view files that are on it and watch videos or listen to music or view pictures or whatever we want to do. So the site we're going to try real quick is fast.com and see what kind of speeds we get through Ethernet. So not very bad. I've gotten speeds that are up to 900, but again, the only problem with this is the fact that it's just bottlenecking the CPU whenever you try to run a speed test this quick. But the very nice thing is the RAM, we're using 1.7 gigs, 1.6 gigs of the 4 available. So we're not even using half the space by having our browser open, which is awesome. If we had the 2 gig version, we would have less than 500 megabytes available right now, like 400 or less, because it would only give you like 1.9 out of the box, and you were using 1.6. Well, that wraps up this video. I recommend just hooking up through Wi-Fi. If your Wi-Fi is good, if you've got wireless AC, if you do not have wireless AC or really fast dual band, just go ahead and connect it to Ethernet. I'm personally just going to keep it wireless because there's not too much of a difference between wired and Wi-Fi at the moment. If I had more tools to show you exactly what it could and could not handle, I would do that. That's why I am recommending Seidman. That's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, please let me know as well. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here. This is What Would Josh Do, and I'm out.